Hi George, welcome to Szeged. How was your trip?
It was great. We're coming from Slovakia, and this is actually the last clinic of 2017 for me. So it's a special one, you know. And I'm in a good mood. Really happy to be here. This is my first official clinic in Hungary. So yeah, I hope it's going to be a blast. It was great. Unfortunately, my dates and the Testament days, they were playing the day before me, before my clinic. So I think that took away some people, because I don't know how many can afford like 2 shows in 2 days. But yeah, it was great. The club is rebuilt, new stage, much bigger. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It depends. This is actually set up from a friend of mine, Sad, which is and that's his own drum set. So he found a few extra pieces which I needed for to do my job. So I didn't brought the cymbals. But what I always travel with is a case from SKB, my favorite case ever, and which holds my shoes and my pedals, all the cables, sound cards, a lot of stuff. Today I brought some CDs here as well. So this is the case I'm always traveling with, and sometimes when it's necessary, cymbals. That really depends on my band, Nile. So if, for example, the new album, thinking about, getting like a new cymbal, for example, then I have to carry it with me all the time. So it really depends on what we do with Nile. That's my main focus, and I don't think. I mean, I added a few things, like a ribbon crusher for some songs, the second snare, So yeah, if we come up with something which needs something new, then it's going to change, From all the metal greats back in the day, back in 1999 or 2000. It was really extremely difficult to get them in Greece, and that's the main thing with Axis. They're not like such a huge brand, and there are not so many distributors. But thankfully, it's growing every year. And I remember back in the days, everybody was using Axis, so I was like, I need to get them as well. And I got them, and now I have my own personal signature model, which is great. Yeah, they do the job better than any other pedal, that's for sure. So, and my signature pedal has a few modifications, nothing really extreme, but it's made mostly for this style of music, especially with my setup. Yeah. My practice room, yeah, it's brand new actually. I used to be on a drum booth building, with many drummers, everybody, good friend of mine, and the owners, fantastic. This is the Sound Trap in Athens, Greece, and I still love the guys. I'm not there anymore, but they helped me a lot with an amazing room. But now I just finished my new studio, which is actually at my house on the basement. So it's a very simple room, about like 18 square meters. I have my big setup, which is my main kit, which I work and rehearse. But I also have my fusion kit. So it's kind of like one kit facing each other, and there's a hallway in the middle, which ends up on my computer and my mixing desk. A few monitors spread around, some professional lights, because I do a lot of videos and my online school. The lessons. Very simple, but I'm extremely happy now. And the main reason I built this room was because, number one, it's like I said, at my house, so I don't have to go anywhere. I just take the elevator and I'm there. But to be honest, the main focus was the second kit. I just wanted a second kit on the same room. Not that I can't practice on my big drum set, but if I want to play different styles, especially something more like on the more jazzy area, you know, like funk, then I need a small setup, and I quite enjoy it a lot as well. So that's why. Absolutely. I haven't been in the studio except the Nile albums, which, you know, this time for the new album, we agreed to go to Eric Rutan's Mana Studios. We love Eric. You know, he's he obviously one of the best, if not the best. So yeah, his room is super professional, fantastic, you know. But for all the Nile demos and my solo album and a lot of session work I do, which I do about 4 or 5 albums per year for other bands, I use my personal room. I mean, okay, my microphones are, you know, normal price, they're not like 10,000 each, but the results are sometimes are fantastic, you know, and everybody's happy so far. Yeah, so I do a lot of recordings, not professional like editing and stuff. I'm very raw when it comes to recordings, so I just record and do like a really basic mix, and never for other bands. Like I don't like, you know, I'm not at that level anyways, because many people get a computer and a mixing desk, they're like, oh yeah, producer. It's not that simple. But for me, it's all I do is, you know, I do it for me, and you know, just to make my life easy, so I don't have to run to studios to make my videos on my albums and stuff. Yep. I can tell you right now, because these days, and especially after this clinic, which I'm done with the clinics for this year, I'm going to focus 300% on the new Nile album, which I do so far. Usually I get the tracks from the guys, and they used to send me raw guitars, you know, so I had to come up with my own drum parts. Now, which I totally get because it makes easier the writing process, they have some raw drums there, you know, some loops and stuff. So it's a little bit easier for me because I know what they want. I'm talking about Carl and Brian, my 2 guitar players, which they bring songs on the table. And I will get the song. First thing I always do is figure out the signatures, the time signatures. Not only hear them, but also see them on the grid, on Logic or Cubase or, you know, whatever we work on. So I need to figure out the signatures so I know where I'm going. Because as you know, Nile is not a typical 4/4 band. You know, there's a lot of 11s, a lot of 9s, a lot of 13s, and it's totally total chaos, which I enjoy. But I need to see them. I need to see where, you know, where everything is and what signature we go with. Then, you know, come up, learn the song actually with some basic parts, and then try some of my ideas, and then record. When I record, usually I do the first recordings. I do it in parts. So I do like part 1 and part 2, and try different things and try to hear it. You know, the total result sounds very bad because, you know, you can hear like the punch-ins and everything. But I get the idea, like, okay, this is too much, this is too less, you know, I need to add something, this is too fast, this is too slow, you know, typical stuff like that. And then when I finalize my drum parts, which is they're never finalized until you record in the studio. But let's say as a demo version 1 or 2 or 3, you know, as you grow, I learn the song and, you know, add it on my daily routine. So yeah, just it's like playing a set list every day, 2 or 3 times in a row, just to get the hang of the song and you know, feel a little bit more familiar. So then you get some better ideas coming every time you play the song. Yeah, it never stops till you go and record. You're changing things. I do think as a guitarist, when I play with my band and when I compose drums for my band. So I try to, for example, when Carl and Brian are not so busy, I will get busy to make the music a little bit more intense. When they're super busy, I'm going to hold back a little bit. Sometimes we both go fucking crazy, so that's typical Niall. But the reality for my solo project is my guitar skills are very poor. I'm just there to play some melodic and yet fast riffs because the right hand, for some reason, probably the drums, can go like really fast. I don't get inspired from the drums. It's neither from the guitar. I mean, what I'm trying to say is I focus on the music only. I don't care about if the riff is too fancy or poor. I just go for a song which is stuck in my mind. I never think about the drums. And to be honest, if you listen to my solo album, drumming, okay, is super fast and it's got some complicated fills and stuff, but it's not at the level I would wish, because I spend too much time with the guitars, too much time with the bass, keyboard samples, the lyrics, my singing. Like I did everything myself, and then I finished the album and I like it, but next album I'm going to focus a little bit on the drums because they're like a little bit generic in my opinion. Yeah, I wish they were a little bit more complicated. No, absolutely. Everybody. I mean, all the bands I work with, they give me total freedom, and that's my job. My job is not perform only. That will be way easier for me. But my job is also to compose for the music, and this is my goal as a session player. I'm not a session musician because I never tour with other bands, except Spark 7 from Japan, which is a good friends of mine, and they're very different than Niall. It's progressive fusion metal rock thingy, So yeah, this is like a very special thing which I did once and I hope I will do again. But for the studio, I only do some studio session work and never, especially nowadays, never something that sounds like Niall. So it's a job for me in one hand, but I want it to be something inspiring and different. Cerebrum, of course, was one of them. These guys are crazy music. I had so much fun to go to the Richard Christie area, the Old Death and stuff. Who else? Sickening, of course, was my band. So that was a total different game there. And I think we're doing an incredible job, especially for back in the day. Contrarian is a newer project I have, which I did 2 EPs and 1 full-length album. It's on the death area, like very technical and odd signatures and crazy stuff. But yeah, I try to do different things to get inspired as well for me. That's funny because we had this conversation last night with some friends in Košice. I would say metal drummers in general, they're more open-minded to other styles, and I think the jazz guys should do the same. Now the jazz greats do it. I know they do, and they're open and they know what's going on out there. They try some double bass stuff, and I remember on the lab camp in Greece this summer, me and Stanton Moore sitting on the kit, and he was so excited. He was talking with such an excitement about double bass. And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm practicing this, I'm practicing that." I'm like, "Wow!" Like for me, the best funk drummer, practice double bass, and like he really likes it. So I think everybody should be like that, because if you get stuck on one style, you lost the game, 100%. You gotta be open to many other styles, from pop music to whatever, like jazz, funk, everything. And jazz is not the main thing, because many drummers, they start as metal guys or whatever, and then they switch to jazz because they think that's the top. It's a more like a free form style, okay, which gives you the opportunity to explode and go crazy. But you can do this with any band, especially today, man. There's so many bands like crossing that these borders. Like I have to play 4/4 and just give the beat to the band. So you gotta be open-minded and try different styles. Music is two kinds: good music and bad music. That's all. Today, actually, I just heard the band here, and I really liked it. And well, Sed, what was the name of the band? The band, the Polish band? Mgła? Yeah.
Yeah, pronounce it Mgła.
Okay. Well, I heard this. I'm like, wow, this is really, really good. I'm not really into go to the music stores and buy music, to be honest. I'm a very digital guy and buy on iTunes. I'm not a collector, or I gave all my CDs away. I prefer the hard disk. It's easier for me, So, yeah, I mean, I'm not really looking for music every day, but if I find something, I will, buy it and support it and get into it as much as possible. Lately, a lot, but not so much with metal. So that was a good surprise today. I liked what I heard. One of my best friends. Gergo is amazing, man. He's not because I'm in Hungary, because I say this all over the world. I think Gergo is the scariest motherfucker out there today. Like every time he plays, he scares me, and I'm not kidding. I know him very well. We hang out many times. We play together in some festivals, at his camp, at the lab camp the year before. He is scary. He's one of the greatest drummers I've ever met and seen, but he scares me a little bit more than other people. And yes, we hang out a lot. I just sent him a message actually today. I think he's in LA still. And yeah, super cool guy too, man. Super cool. Also, I text him today as well. That's funny. Derek is also one of my best friends, but also the main influence on the super extreme metal drumming, because Derek was one of the first to push the limits and go in the speed areas that was impossible to even think like, oh, can I do this with 1 foot or 2 feet? Depends on what you play. So yeah, a lot of respect for Derek. Too bad he's not as much active like he used to be, because I was a huge SzegeDEATH fan, and I have some DVDs of him playing behind the with the camera behind the kit, and it's, Jesus Christ, I really miss these days, But yeah, one of the best, and still, what he does is impossible. We have this, the Birch Masters Premium from my good friend Sed over there. What is the color again? The Bubinga? Yeah. It's a beautiful color. I play 22 by 18. 18 tom, 10, 12, 13, 14 floor, and 16 floor. All cymbals are from Sabian, mostly AX and HHX. Here we use some substitutes because we couldn't find the exact cymbals. The hardware is always Pearl, the best hardware ever, as the drums as well. I use my signature sticks, Vic Firth, the SGK. What else? G2s, Evans. On old toms, I use G1s on the bottom. I don't know what we have on this kit right now. G2 on the bottom as well? Okay. The HD dry coated on snares, both 12 and 14 snare. That's pretty much it. And the AudioFly in-ears, which I use here. What else? I think I said it all. Yeah. My access pedals, which we talked before. Yeah, it's a beautiful setup, and I'm looking forward to hit it really hard today. Yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.